Hi all, welcome to the TKC Games channel on YouTube and various other places. This will be up on Facebook as well, I'm pretty sure, and on our tkc-digital.com website. This is an update to the software project. We're still running fairly old code here, but this is a recompile of the original with a few mod cons put in by our head programmer Bob Vail. And as you can see, before we had something that had a lot of really untidy looking icons and so on and so forth. This is now a really good looking product. The front end obviously has the sorted filters and so on. We've got a help file which, as you can see, is in construction, which is really positive. And if you go into it, it tells you a wee bit about how these things work, which is obviously a really good thing. We can then take a look at the number of aircraft that you can base at various air bases on the map. And we will be moving a few things about in a minute just so you get an idea. But again, at a glance, that's really handy for you to understand where you can fly your planes and base them. One of the coolest things is our weather system is now fully implemented. As you can see, it's a lovely sunny day somewhere over the Mediterranean and the Adriatic. And in fact, across most of Europe here. So the pale blue lines you can see where my mouse cursor is moving down that way, that's a weather zone line. And each area obviously has its own weather. That's all auto done, by the way, within the software. So we've already got quite a lot of automation getting built in. If we turn off the weather, we can then take a little look at the supply system. That's moved forward from where we were at before. It now visually shows you where the various Army and Corps headquarters are. And it shows you what they can supply. It shows you the rail lines, which are obviously vital for moving large quantities of stuff about. As blue for the Allies, and if you look at the Axis stuff, it will also show you in red here, as you can see. Okay, so it's all pretty cool stuff, let's be honest, that we've got built into it. We can also then do a highlight. So for the Allies, what it does is it shows you just how far theoretically the Greeks can supply into Albania or Yugoslavia or whatever. If we turn off the Allies and put on the Axis, you can see the similar thing for the Axis players. So the Italians can basically get down to this area here before they start running out of logistical range. And maybe for those of your students of history, it might explain to you why they did at the very least look at attacking through Yugoslavia before discounting it as something which was unachievable. It turned out, to be fair, that the invasion of Greece was pretty much unachievable as well, but that is what it is. And then we have the zone of influence system, and the different colorations show you ownership, pale blue or red, depending what side you are, and the darker areas shows you a zone of influence around bigger units, which restrict enemy movement and so on and so forth. So I think what we want to do is take a look and see what we can do in terms of setup. So we can take a look at deploying some units. Now there aren't all that many, if any at all, that can be deployed. But I know that the British have some squadrons somewhere hiding somewhere. And obviously we now have navies, as you can see here. And what I'm trying to do is find where we managed. I think they're in Malta. I wonder if we can redeploy that Sunderland. It might be useful. Can it go anywhere? No. So it must be locked there within the software. There is a mode in which you can actually move everything yourself. So that is what it is. We can teleport stuff which is movable, and actually be handy before I move that air unit. Escape, by the way, stops things from happening, lets you get out of it if you don't want to continue it. So let's see if we can move a few bits and pieces about, because I really want to move where my air power is, if I can find it all. So some bombers there, not much use. There is a fighter unit someplace. And for some unknown reason it's down in Crete, or a bomber unit is. Let's move that up. It could be very handy having it somewhere on map. Mixed bomber unit, mixed fighter unit. Nothing like stuff deciding to escape and hide, is it? Ah, here we go. So we want the best of the Greek fighters forward deployed somewhere where they can maybe do some damage. So I think we'll shove them there and we'll move Be nice, that's it. We'll move that bomber unit down this neck of the woods. And we're also going to move this bomber unit over to here because we've got some spare capacity. Submarines, well, let's see where we can move them to. Essentially, just these dots here. So it looks to me as if the Z-zone system is actually active, but is not displayed on the screen. Probably to keep it from being a bit too cluttered. My personal preference would be to have that showing, but you can't have everything to begin with. That said, I think you'd all agree this is a huge step forward from where we were at before. It looks really cool, doesn't it? So, we've done a few moves. Don't really want to do too much more with the Greeks. It is what it is for the Greeks at the beginning. So yeah, we're going to end it. You do get a little thing saying, have you done everything? Do we want naval spotting? Yeah, we could do. So we'll fly that one there out to try and spot stuff. So there's now a chance of the bad guys getting spotted in that general area. So yeah, we finished with that. Just clicking the button. Yes, we are now access setup. This is a bit more interesting because at the end of the day, we want to see what we can actually do. See if we get anything that's... No, there isn't anything we can move easily. But we need some more air power down here. I guarantee the Italians are going to need all the help they can get. I think we'll move various units to certain positions further towards Yugoslavia, because at some point I'm pretty sure we are going to attack Yugoslavia if we keep playing the game long enough. So may as well do some pre-setting. It's not really a big deal, but it is useful to at least see what we've got in all the various axes that we can maybe do something with as time goes on. For those of you who've been following the board game project, this is the old version of Vulcan Fury that we're playing. The new version does have quite a few differences, and I'm pretty sure that when we do it in software, there'll be a fairly high number of unit changes. But the actual outline of the game is going to be very, very similar, which is obviously good news for those of you who like the board games, as well as the idea of doing it on a computer. So, this small horde of things in here is the Italian Navy. And I think we might, as the Italian Navy, want to go and do something nasty. And I don't know if it'll let us do it in this phase, because I know we can build task groups now. And the answer is don't be so silly, John, because frankly it's in the pre-setting. It's something I think we will probably add to the software, because for me that would be something I would like to be able to change up front. So preset some battle groups I think would be really handy for you guys as players, and that's a really cool idea for me to chase the team about a wee bit. Bob tells me he's got an awful lot of stuff done, but he's been struggling somewhat with various other things, not least the fact that he was away on a guide weekend, you know. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. So as we move all of this stuff, we're taking a look to see where the various headquarters and so on are. So we might as well turn on the supply system, because that does tell me army and a corps and another corps down here. I'm not too keen. I wonder if I move that there. No. So I obviously can't redeploy stuff. Anyway, as you're seeing, we've got a lot active now. The problem we've got, as the Italian player certainly, is you don't have enough firepower to do what you need to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to move forward into Axis Administration and see if we get any things. Now, you'll also notice we've got a lot of silhouettes and so on the air counters and whatnot. That wasn't there before. It was the duck. We are going to do the duck as a free DLC to begin with, because I know quite a lot of, particularly people who've seen the older versions of this, they just love the ducks. Personally, I quite like them. So, that's the supply system there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go up and see if there's a way, and I believe that there is, to take stuff up here. Is there a way to do that? There should be a way to take this out of offensive supply, because we don't really want it in offensive supply. It's doing nothing. And of course I'm being really clever. I know we can do it, I just need to find it. Anyway, we'll come back to that. Someone might want to remind me, by the way, to do that. Okay, so this is admin. I don't know that there are any deployable units. There aren't. And there's no units that we need to rebuild. So it tells you there's nothing there, but they will appear once something's been killed. So I think the key thing to do now, is to start looking at, there we go, just shove all this into general supply. Why would we want this, any of this, in offensive supply? And as we progress the project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a lot of this done as a checkbox actually on the Army or the Core HQ. So instead of going and having to select all units individually, which to me certainly is just a tiny wee bit of a faff, I think what we'll do is we'll have that something that you can select as the player, that say 6th Army, 2nd Army, whatever it is. You just say, I want that in offensive supply, and the computer will then actually organise that for you, which I think is a really cool thing again. So, massive improvement, as you can see. It looks really lovely, actually. I've got to be honest, I'm very happy with it. As it moves forward, you know, we're going to look at streamlining other parts of the game system and so on to make it a more exciting user experience for you. I think that's really important, because we want this to not just wow, but we want it to be a huge amount of fun to play. So if you guys have any ideas, like, follow us, comment down below, go to our website and email us through the info on it, contact us and let us know what you think we need to be doing with this, because we really want to please you all. Yeah, this has got to be a bit of a joint effort. So I'm done with the administration. Yeah, just move it. Move naval and air forces and so on. So let's start doing something. Let's actually start doing something. So when we click on it, the icon's up here at the top left, change, and you get a variety of different movement options, and you can launch an attack, or you can try and overrun weak units, or you can scrap the selected unit if you're desperate for replacements. The Italians are not yet that desperate for replacements, but they will be. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch some attacks here. We're going to move the Julia Mountain Division southeast, exactly where it went historically, because it actually makes a lot of sense. And we're going to try and get some bonuses for encircling this brigade and attacking it from different angles. So concentric attacks always help. We're going to move this infantry division, the Venezia division, down. We're going to use it to punch through here. The idea is to try and take this area here. I call it going round the door. We need to push the Greeks back. And whilst we know we can't get supplied, if we can get down into this area here, take that port, and then eventually get down here at Mezzolonghi, and if we move down towards Tricali and Kassala here, we might be able to kill the Greek army HQ, which puts them in a world of hurt. They'll hopefully have to be, they can then, you know, we can then move forward, even though we're not in supply, to get to ports where we can move supply into the contested area. I think I'm going to move, take the re-risk, move my core headquarters forward, and the armoured division and its light forces are going to move. There isn't really a good option here for them. I think we'll go into that hex there, and then they're going to attack that mountain division along with some infantry assets here. I'm going to move that and that forward, again thinking about supply later on. And now that most of that is working fully, we obviously need to keep tracking it and keep thinking ahead. It's not a game, by the way, where you just sort of randomly click stuff. You know, this isn't, I don't know. It's not that type of a product. You need to think it through a little bit and kind of work out what you're going to do. So if we do some admin movement, we're going to reinforce down here. Historically, this unit didn't move, but for the purposes of the demonstration, that's a good thing to do. And now we're going to start flying some air support. So we need to do some close air support. The Italians are really desperate for every bit of firepower they can get. And the way the system works again is fairly simplistic in some ways. So as you can see, it's just pick an air unit, pick a mission, and transfer it. You can do close air support, you can do some bombing missions. But you fly it down and it just does it. Now, the Greek player hopefully will be able to intercept that, and we can take it from there and see what happens. And the fighter unit can fly some escort. It asks you which mission. Obviously you could have more missions than just the one going to a single hex, and if you have that, then the computer prompts you and says, hang on a minute, which one of those missions is it that you're actually doing? I didn't want to do that, I want to fly that as an escort down here. And I'm just going to keep on supporting doing that just to make sure that when the Greeks attack, nothing much happens. Now up here in the navies we can create a task group, so I think we're going to do something. So we're going to shove a whole pile of battleships and some cruisers into a task group for the purposes of demonstration, whacking some destroyers. We'll do it like so. We've now added it to the group, we've created it. So if you take a look, there's still some ships kicking about individually, but up here we have a task group. Now what we can do is we can load some units, we can disband it, or we can add supply points to it. We don't want to do that. We're actually going to sail down here looking for the bad guys. So did we get spotted? Yep, we did. Spotted right there. And they're down here hoping that they can find someone nasty to attack. As we already know, the Allies haven't moved yet, so the Royal Navy is still tied up at Alexandria. That's it there. And sorry about that, guys. So we've got some stuff at sea. We're not going to bother moving anything else this turn. I don't much see the point, frankly, in terms of the actual gameplay. But for you all watching this, I hope you're seeing just how much flexibility we've already got built into it. You already know about the wiggly worm and all that kind of cool stuff, but the graphics are nice and neat. It's really clear. All the icons are very smart. There's a lot of intelligent stuff built into the iconography now. So let's see if there's anything that we can do down here that we haven't already done. I'm pretty happy with that, so let's just go to the next phase, shall we? So Allies here can move units in response to what is already happening. So they move tactically and they're marching towards the sound of the guns. So that green highlighted area, because there's stuff going on here, is where the Greeks can react from. Now you'll notice that the Greek player, that's me, is moving stuff up here to try and reinforce this area. This unit will come around that way when it's the Greek player turn. And I'm not moving the Army Group HQ quite yet. There's no need to do that. This fighter is going to fly an interception mission. And that looks like a good hint. We're going to do that. This Greek bomber unit is going to fly there. And I'm pretty sure, as I'm sure you all remember, that I moved some stuff. So I'm going to fly some more close air support. So close air support isn't just the bomb load. Just having planes there, people duck, they get distracted, they don't do their job properly. So just flying stuff that's even fairly weak can get your die roll mod behind the scenes to actually boost your capability. And I think it'd be fair to say anything that gives you that little bit more has got to be good news, especially in relatively difficult terrain with comparatively weak units. This is not, you know, elite panzer forces or whatever screaming across the steppes in Russia. This is tight terrain, and neither side have particularly powerful formations. So we're going to move forward again and go to Axis here interception. I happen to know that pilots of Navy planes kicking about, I don't think there's much in the way of capacity, and you'll notice it's not got the range, because that's that dark area, to do much more than just that. So let's take a little look. We've got some information here. See all the different modifiers. -1, +1, -1, 2 +1. So odds are 2.3, but there's a chance that the bad guys are going to get a wee bit of a kick. So combat efficiency is soft factors, how well trained the troops are, how good your communications are. Base strength is the printed combat strength. Terrain, well, lousy terrain does stuff, so does bad weather later on. Any other factors? Nothing there. And then we add in some close air support. Okay, so all good. So nothing much more to do here. Yes, we've done all of that. So let's do some combat. And we're going to just resolve that one. So you click on that button up there. The defender has taken a bit of a pasting. And the Italians can now advance certain forces after combat. So they do indeed advance, but they're leaving this division here to hold the hex. If we put that forward, the Italians will be a bit weak on the ground. Down here we're going to take another combat resolution, and you can see that the Italian forces have taken some heavy casualties, but they have cleared the hex, and again they're just going to advance. So we're going to keep on pushing. Yeah, there's no prizes for going slowly here as the Italian player. So their armor's moved to here. The mountain division is going to hold this hex here, and next turn, if it has the chance, it will advance round this way. The open door concept I explained earlier on. We're not going to move anything like that hex there because we really need to retain it. And this one here is a bit of a risk. I don't think the odds for the Italians are particularly good, but let's see what happens. Well, the attacker lost 25% of his forces. That was not good news for various people. Now, involved. Now here, you may recall, the Greek fighters are here. They have done some stuff. They obviously didn't kill anything because it just automates it. The game actually just deals with that. So, yeah, we're going to end it. Then we go to pursuit. So, the Italians want to press their advantage. They are moving forward. They have had a bit of success. So, let's just see what happens here. So, we're going to keep pushing. That infantry division is going to move forward. So that reinforces this area, and to be fair, we have kind of shorter bolt now. I can build stuff with engineers. I don't really want to risk them. So I think we're, interestingly enough, you guys are going to go, what are you doing, John? Well, I'm going to pull it back because next turn we're going to build some airbase capacity here. And the air units need to return to base. And tempting though it would be to push the armour into here, I don't think that's advisable from a gameplay standpoint. But the mountain division is going to do that, and I think we will move as a sacrificial lamb to here. It essentially means the Greeks might be able to overrun it, but it's unlikely they'll have the firepower to do it. And that's gone as far as it can. So I think we're about done here. 8 points, 6 there. I think if we can move that 1 hex forward, we will. Reinforce this hex here. The idea, as you can see, so we've now grabbed a bit of Greece, and Benito Mussolini's feeling pretty good about himself. So we can now start returning aircraft to air bases. There isn't one there. So call that we move stuff. The engineers to start building basing. You can see why now, yeah, because we're very short on air bases here in Albania. But I'm absolutely determined to leave aircraft forward deployed. You can over base if you like. You just can't fly missions. There's a bit of a risk doing it here. I wonder if I can get back to there. No, out of range. So we will be fixing a little thing there. If you fly an extended range air mission, the planes should be able to go back to the base they started from. Minor glitch, and this is all part of the bug fixing process that we're trying to do behind the scenes. Understandably, mainly because we're under a bit of time pressure with this, Bob has not been focusing heavily on bug fixes yet, but he has been focusing on functionality behind the scenes within the code. So there we go. That's all of that done. I'm happy with that. Yeah, end the phase. Allied air returns, so we need to fly some planes back. Personally, I really want that automated. I really want it to go back whence it came. So you fly a plane, it just lands back where you launched it from. I think that would be really cool. And it should be fairly easy to implement. If you like that, by the way, please tell us, because we will definitely look at things you guys want. So that's it. I think pretty much everything has now returned to base. Just double checking. All cool. So we're going to end the phase, and now we go to Allied Admin. And you'll notice there are some reinforcements. And there should be highlighted areas. There are. So these 2 units here can go on the map there, anywhere that it highlights. Now this unit, I happen to know, deploys in one very specific location. For the life of me I can't find it. It's Athens. There we go. That's it. So it's now been deployed. We can take a look at rebuilding eliminated stuff. So we've got no aircraft, so the shot down, you remember we did some combat. The bomber gets shot down. But we have infantry, so we're going to rebuild that. That's gone in, I think, to Athens. You move that box about so you can actually see what's going on. I'm pretty sure that went into Athens. It just goes to show that the chap showing you how to play this a bit of a wally, because I shouldn't have built it there. That's not great locationing. That's my fault. So that's it. And basically we're done with this. Let's move. Yeah, we're going to end that. Allied operations. So we need to move some ground forces. Well, things are not looking too hot for the Greeks, to be honest, but now it's time to redress that balance. So we're going to move an assortment of Greek units forward to create a line, a defensive line, which we desperately need. And then we're going to see what we can do about teaching the Italians that moussaka is definitely, in the minds of most Greek people, a much tastier thing than lasagna. Now, we can move operationally and get into the front line, and I think we really want to do that here. The more firepower we throw in, the better. And we're also going to push forward some engineering assets, and you'll notice the engineers can build stuff. Yeah, I think it would be extremely useful for us to have an airbase here as the Greek player. And I think we'll also fortify Thessalonica, so we're going to build a level 1 fortification. We're going to do that here as well, and then we're going to operationally move that to there. And does that have... it does, so we can build an airbase. So we've got some more airbase capacity for the allied player. And we're also looking at admin move, doesn't like that much. Because we've already used it for stuff, and I think we're going to get some more logistical capability up to this area here. I believe the RAF has some planes. What have we got there? Gladiator's not much use, but we do have a Wellington bomber. Now we're going to transfer that to Athens. And down here, the Royal Navy, being the Royal Navy, are going to create a task group, and they're going to go looking for our friends in the Italian Navy. So again, you can see all the ships are now transferred into that task group, and we're just going to start moving them up in that general direction. So we're also going to create a Greek task group. The Greek Navy is not huge, but it is fairly capable. And what happens now is we're going to attack that Italian group, which didn't go well for the Greeks. They get hammered, right? But naval combat's working, as you'll see in a wee while, because you'll actually see a whole pile of stuff literally just disintegrated, just absolutely annihilated there. So we're going to entrain that division there. We're then going to move it to there. We're going to detrain it, and then we're going to shove it in the line just there. So there's an awful lot of capability now, fully functional. We're going to operationally move units into that area there, covering the rear. I think we're going to build some fortifications in Athens, and we're going to move that pair of units up that general direction. We're going to move straight across the ferry, you can see it there, all the way up to here. So there's actually an object lesson here, which is don't annoy the Greeks. It's not looking too good for the Italian military here. Now we did place a couple of regiments on the board there. We can entrain them, then we can move them, and it's a bit of a toss-up, isn't it? It'd be nice to bulk up here a bit, I think, more. So we shove them there, detrain them there, and we're going to operationally move them straight into the line here. So you will start to see things happen in terms of combat very quickly now. And I'm just going to move stuff, you know, the hard way, Shanks's pony, get them walking along the road towards the sound of the guns. Now, I am in fact falling exactly into the same problem that the Greeks themselves did historically. They were very annoyed, understandably, at the Italian attack, and they elected to transfer most of their more capable units out of eastern Greece and northern Greece here to go pounding the Italians. So obviously when the Germans then came into the war a wee bit later on in the Balkans, it didn't go too well for the Italians, for the Greeks and the British. Now we're now going to look at where we're going to attack. We're going to try and do the revolving door, but going in the opposite direction. And down here, the Julia division is very exposed, which kind of guessed it might be, and we're going to pound on it like so. We're not going to attack that armoured division quite yet. I want to get the Italian player in, as it were, in a bit of a frame of mind that says things are maybe not going so well before we do that. Now over here we do have a supply problem, so we do need a core HQ. One's on its way. There's not much to be done about it. And the Greek Air Force, well, I think we'll leave it on the ground other than any bombers we've got left. There we go. and we're going to use them to hit that hex there, because the other hexes we're attacking look fairly good to me, and we have a little bit more air power we can fly in from there. I'm going to fly some escort fighters, and we're now going to take a look at that. I think we've done just about everything we can do. So let's move forward. Yeah, I've done what I want to do there. So Axis reaction. Do the Italians have anything they can react with? Not really. Theoretically, I need to leave some stuff here to cover my border, but I think if we move that there, sorry guys, if we move this down here, it gives you an idea that I'm at least paying lip service to the idea that Yugoslavs might want to do something nasty. Do we have some air power? Yeah, we do. So let's fly some close air support right there. Now, notice I'm intentionally shying away from getting too involved in where the Greeks are, but we're going to do a wee bit of funny stuff there. And I can't see much more benefit to this, and I'm going to have a go at intercepting that. Okay, so we've done interception. Just moving forward, we're going to go to Allied combat resolution. We may as well start up here in the north and just resolve the combat. Well, it's a straight exchange, heavy losses on both sides, but the Italians get pushed back. The Greeks, looking at this, do not particularly want to do that much more here, but we will advance that regiment. We're going to hit that hex next. You'll see why in a minute. So the Greek army's done a good job here, and now we've got the very exposed Julia division. We're going to attack it, and it's just been destroyed. So the remnants of it, because of the different zones of influence surrounding that hex, has gone up here and it's basically been absolutely hammered. So we're going to advance that way, and we're also going to advance some of these units into that hex. I don't want to do too much more here, because in exploitation in the pursuit phase, as we pursue things, we're going to move forces back round this way to block off that. We're also going to hit that. So few losses on both sides. Italians are forced back the way, but I'm not prepared to advance yet, as the Greeks here wouldn't really be wise. So we go forward again, and we get to the Allied pursuit phase. So we're going to return that bomber to its airbase somewhere down this general area, because we want it out of harm's way. We're going to go looking. Oh, my weak fighter has survived. My bomber has survived. I'm wondering, I'd help if we could see it. I could have sworn a bit more. Maybe we lost the. I think we possibly did. So my elite Greek fighter unit, which was based out here at Ioannina, has actually still survived several intense combats. We're going to focus the Greek Air Force here. Right, so the Allied pursuit phase. Remember I said before we were going to try and seal up Italian penetrations. And you'll notice the game has just told me you can't do that, you're above the stacking limit, which is fair enough. So as bits and pieces move forward, I'm sure I said there was a problem with logistics over this direction, so we're going to start pumping some logistical support further to the west. As the Greek player, I think we'll keep that moving down that general direction. All of this stuff can move up that way. Now, so we're going to have a go here. To be fair, I'm pretty sure the Italians will win, but you never know. They did. So we just sank the Mediterranean fleet. I don't know what's left of the Italian Navy. Wow. A fairly big chunk of it just died. But most of the Royal Navy died as well, which isn't good news. I'll just keep on doing this. See what's left. And left. Might have punished them a bit more. Actually, I didn't realise last game turn, but that's there. We need that core HQ. Okay, so move that. Yeah, return step for the Italians. So we're going to return. Where is that fighter? That can go there. And what I need to do, capture that. Ah, you'll notice that the Greeks have taken my air base here, so we might be about to lose that Italian fighter if we can't return it to a base in range. I don't think we can. That's really bad news for the Italian player. There's not much to be done about it. I just hope his Stukas aren't in that amount of trouble as well. They might have been shot down. Kinda looks like it. So, yep, it's a bad day to be an Italian pilot, guys, because that just died. There's nothing we can do about it. So as you can see, get some reinforcements. And we shove them into Bari. We need to get some ships to move them across, sail them across. And then we can take a look at what's been eliminated. Okay, so we can't do an awful lot with any of this stuff. But we might be able to do that. They rebuilt. You know something? I need to try and identify where stuff is going because I just built them somewhere and no idea what I did. Anyway, that's probably me, not the software. It gives you an idea. We've now done a huge amount more with the code. It's very close to a fully playable demo. There's a few little things we want to tweak, a few things we do definitely have to add. We're going to I'm looking at how the logistics system works, and I'm thinking that we're going to simplify that a wee bit for yours truly, which I think would be quite helpful for me basically playing the game. But I hope you're seeing that this is actually really easy to use. There's an awful lot of exciting stuff going on and it's fun to play. So thank you all for watching. Have a really good day and catch you soon. If you like us, as ever, Like us down link below, down below this video. Click on the link, see what we've got. Take a look at some of the board games. You never know, you might enjoy them. If you've got great ideas, please email us at info@tkc-games.com. And if there's something you want to know about what we're doing, how to invest in the project, how to invest in the business to drive everything forward that bit quicker, feel free, get in touch, see what we think. We're happy to help anybody find out a bit more about what we're doing, take a look at our investor decks, etc. And have a really good evening, really good morning, whichever time of the day as you've been looking at this. See you soon. Cheers, bye bye.